Welcome, dear viewers, to a journey into the somber territories of human behavior, its TT empire. Today we explore events of profound darkness. Welcome to our countdown of the top 10 most vicious crimes ever committed. These chronicles are stark reminders of the fragility of peace. Viewer discretion is advised as the content is disturbing. Our purpose is to observe, document and understand. Even in the darkest tales there are lessons about vigilance and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Chapter 1. The Zodiac's Enigma, a Predator Unseen. Our story begins in the sun-drenched landscapes of California in the late 1960s. Amidst cultural upheaval, a darkness began to stalk society's fringes. An unseen predator, known as Zodiac, emerged from the shadows. His victims were seemingly chosen at random, creating pervasive unease. The true terror lay in his taunting, cryptic communications. Despite an extensive manhunt, the Zodiac's identity remains a mystery. The Zodiac remains a chilling echo in the annals of crime. Chapter 2. The Manson Aberration, Cults and Carnage. In the summer of 1969, Charles Manson etched his name into history. Manson gathered disaffected youths drawn to his pseudo-philosophical ramblings. The gruesome Tate LaBianca murders were calculated, ritualistic performances. Manson aimed to incite a race war, emerging as a leader. The Manson family murders exposed the power of a manipulative personality. The name Manson evokes dread, a reminder of charisma coupled with malevolence. Chapter 3. Jonestown, the Final Congregation. This was the People's Temple Agricultural Project, better known to the world as Jonestown. Here in November 1978, over 900 souls, men, women and a heartbreaking number of children met their end in a mass murder-suicide orchestrated by their charismatic and increasingly paranoid leader, Jim Jones. Jim Jones, a figure who initially presented himself as a champion of social justice and racial equality, gradually transformed into a despotic figure, demanding total loyalty and obedience from his followers. The final horrifying act at Jonestown was precipitated by a visit from a US Congressman, Leo Ryan, who came to investigate claims of abuse within the community. The sheer scale of the Jonestown massacre is staggering. Jonestown serves as a stark and enduring warning about the dangers of charismatic leaders who demand absolute devotion and isolate their followers from critical thought and outside influence. Chapter 4. The Moors Murders, a Landscape of Despair. In the mid-60s, Ian Brady and Myra Hindley committed child murders that horrified a nation. Their calculated, sadistic acts captured the darkest aspects of human cruelty. They lured young victims with a chilling facade of normalcy. The moors became a desolate graveyard, hiding their evil deeds. The discovery shattered Britain's post-war innocence. Chapter 5. Ted Bundy, the Chameleon of Death. Active across several American states in the 1970s, Bundy shattered the stereotypical image of a monstrous killer. He was, by all outward appearances, charming, intelligent and handsome. A chameleon who used his disarming persona as his most effective weapon. Bundy's modus operandi often involved feigning injury or impersonating authority figures to lure his young female victims into his control. The sheer geographical scope of Bundy's crimes, spanning states from Washington and Oregon to Utah, Colorado, and finally Florida, made him an elusive target for law enforcement. Before his execution, Ted Bundy confessed to 30 homicides, though authorities believed the true number of his victims could be significantly higher. His story forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that evil can be articulate, intelligent, and even attractive, making it all the more insidious and dangerous. Chapter 6. Columbine, the Shattering of Innocence. On April 20th, 1999, in Littleton, Colorado, two senior students, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, embarked on a meticulously planned assault on their school, murdering 12 students and one teacher and injuring many more before taking their own lives. Harris and Klebold, armed with an arsenal of firearms and homemade explosives, transformed their high school into a war zone. The motivations behind the Columbine massacre remain a subject of intense debate and study. Columbine sent shockwaves far beyond the community of Littleton. It shattered the illusion that such horrific violence was confined to distant battlefields or hardened criminal underworlds. The name Columbine became a grim shorthand for school shootings, ushering in an era of heightened security measures, active shooter drills and a pervasive anxiety about the safety of educational institutions. The legacy of Columbine is profound and tragic. Chapter 7. We journey back to the fog-laden, gas-lit streets of Victorian London's East End Whitechapel autumn of 1888. An unidentified serial killer, Jack the Ripper, perpetrated brutal murders that shocked the world. The Ripper's brief reign had a profound psychological impact on London. Despite a massive investigation, Jack the Ripper vanished mysteriously. Numerous theories and suspects have emerged, yet none proven. The Ripper remains a symbol of the darkness beneath civilization. Chapter 8. The Milwaukee Cannibal Dahmer's Descent. Between 1978 and 1991, Dahmer murdered and dismembered 17 young men and boys, his crimes characterized by a chilling progression into necrophilia and cannibalism. Dahmer's victims were often marginalized individuals, young men he lured to his apartment with promises of money or companionship. Once there, they were drugged, murdered, and subjected to gruesome post-mortem acts. The discovery of Dahmer's crimes in July 1991 sent shockwaves of revulsion and disbelief across the globe. The details that emerged were profoundly disturbing, painting a picture of a man utterly consumed by his monstrous compulsions. Jeffrey Dahmer's name is now inextricably linked with some of the most depraved acts imaginable. Chapter 9. Sandy Hook, a Silence in Childhood's Haven. On December 14, 2012, a young man named Adam Lanza forced his way into Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. In a matter of minutes, he murdered 20 young children aged just 6 and 7 and 6 adult staff members before taking his own life. The attack on Sandy Hook Elementary was characterized by its brutal efficiency and the incomprehensible targeting of the most vulnerable. The aftermath of the Sandy Hook massacre was a period of profound national grief and soul-searching. The sheer senselessness of the act, the targeting of innocent first graders, left a nation struggling for answers, grappling with questions about gun control, mental health care, and the pervasive culture of violence. Sandy Hook stands as a heartbreaking monument to lost innocence and a stark reminder of the ongoing threat of mass violence in places that should be havens of safety and learning. Chapter 10. Oklahoma City, the Scar on America's Heartland. On April 19, 1995, a massive truck bomb planted by Timothy McVeigh detonated outside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. The explosion claimed 168 lives, including 19 children, and injured hundreds more. The image of a firefighter carrying Bailey Ullman became an iconic symbol of the tragedy. The Murrah Building site is now a poignant memorial, honoring those lost and educating future generations. Chapter 11. Reflections in the Gloom, Vigilance and Hope. We have traversed a difficult and somber terrain together, examining events that represent some of the deepest shadows of human behavior. The stories are harrowing, The impact on countless lives immeasurable. These are not tales easily forgotten, nor should they be. They serve as stark, painful reminders of the vulnerabilities that exist within our societies and at times within the human spirit itself. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for more content. Remember to stay safe and vigilant, for it is in our collective vigilance and our shared humanity that our greatest strength resides.